There is a moment somewhere between the silence of midnight and the first light of dawn, when the world is still. In that moment you can hear the truth if you listen closely enough. It's not the voice of the crowd, not the echo of the doubters, not the endless noise of mediocrity. It's the voice inside you, the one that whispers you were made for more. Most people never hear it. Most people never listen. Most people stay poor not because of fate, not because of luck, but because they never answer that call. Poverty is not just a lack of money, it's a lack of vision, it's a lack of belief, it's a prison built from invisible bricks, doubt, fear, complacency, and the relentless comfort of the familiar. The world is filled with people who have accepted their own limitations, who have traded their birthright for excuses, who have chosen the safety of the herd over the risk of greatness. But you, if you are listening, if you are awake, you are not most people. You are the exception. You are the one who will break the cycle. Think of the titans who shaped history. Edison working by candlelight, burning through 1,000 failures to bring the world electric light. Carnegie, a poor Scottish immigrant, forging an empire from steel and sweat. Disney, fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination, dreaming up worlds that would outlive him by centuries. Lincoln, born in a log cabin, rising from obscurity to hold a nation together. Ford, mocked for his vision of a car for every family, revolutionizing the way we live and move. These men were not born into greatness. They seized it. They refused to accept the world as it was. They saw what could be and they bent reality to their will. Why do most people stay poor? Because they never learned to think like these giants. They never learned to see beyond the walls of their own making. They are taught to play it safe, to follow the rules, to wait their turn. They are told that ambition is arrogance, that risk is recklessness, that dreaming is dangerous. And so they shrink. They settle, they survive, but they never thrive. But you, if you are willing to see, if you are willing to believe, can break free. It starts with mindset. Everything begins in the mind. The world you see is a reflection of the world you believe in. If you believe you are destined for mediocrity, you will find 1,000 reasons to prove yourself right. If you believe you are destined for greatness, you will find 1,000 ways to make it real. The mind is the battlefield. The war is won or lost before a single action is taken. Donald J. Trump once said, "As long as you're gonna be thinking anyway, think big." This is not just a slogan, it is a commandment. The size of your thinking determines the size of your life. Most people think small because they are afraid of failure, afraid of judgment, afraid of standing out. But the truth is, the only thing more dangerous than thinking big is thinking small. Small thinking leads to small lives, small dreams, small results. Big thinking is the engine of progress, the fuel of innovation, the heartbeat of success. You must train your mind to reject the limitations of the world. You must become immune to the opinions of others. You must see yourself not as you are, but as you could be. This is not delusion, this is vision. Every skyscraper was once a blueprint. Every fortune was once a fantasy. Every revolution was once a whisper in the dark. The world belongs to those who dare to imagine it differently. But mindset alone is not enough. Belief is the next step. Belief is the fire that turns thought into action. It is the unshakable conviction that you are worthy, that you are capable, that you are destined for more. Most people never develop this belief. They are crippled by self-doubt, paralyzed by fear, shackled by the opinions of others. They wait for permission, for validation, for a sign that it's safe to move forward. But the truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. You must claim it. You must believe in yourself when no one else does. Think of Barack Obama, a young man with an improbable name, standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, daring to believe that he could change the world. Think of Napoleon Hill, born into poverty, spending decades studying the secrets of success, distilling them into principles that have changed millions of lives. Think of every entrepreneur, every leader, every visionary who has ever defied the odds. They all started with belief. They all started with the decision to trust themselves, to bet on themselves, to refuse to settle for less than they deserve. Clarity is the next weapon in your arsenal. Most people drift through life like ships without a rudder, tossed by the winds of circumstance, never charting their own course. They have vague wishes, half-formed dreams, but no clear vision of what they want. Clarity is power. When you know exactly what you want, the universe conspires to help you achieve it. When you are clear about your goals, your actions become focused, your energy becomes unstoppable, your results become inevitable. Write your vision in bold letters. See it in your mind's eye every morning and every night. Make it so vivid, so real, so undeniable that it becomes a part of you. Clarity is not just about what you want. It's about who you are. It's about the values you stand for, the legacy you want to leave, the impact you want to make. Most people never ask themselves these questions. They are content to exist, to consume, to pass the time. But you are here to create, to contribute, to conquer. Purpose is the fuel that drives the engine. Without purpose, even the greatest vision will wither and die. Purpose is what gets you out of bed in the morning. It is what keeps you moving when the world says stop. It is the reason behind the reason, the why, that makes the how possible. Most people live without purpose. They chase pleasure, comfort, distraction. They are always searching for something to fill the void, never realizing that the void can only be filled from within. Find your purpose, make it bigger than yourself, make it so compelling, so urgent, so necessary that you cannot ignore it. Purpose is not found in the easy moments, it is forged in the fires of adversity, in the crucible of challenge, in the face of overwhelming odds. When you have a purpose, you become unstoppable, you become a force of nature, you become the exception. Discipline is the bridge between purpose and achievement. Most people lack discipline. They start strong, but they fade. They make promises, but they break them. They set goals, but they never follow through. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It is the daily grind, the relentless pursuit, the refusal to quit. It is the difference between wishing and winning, between hoping and having, between dreaming and doing. Donald Trump built his empire not on talent alone, but on discipline. Early mornings, late nights, endless meetings, constant learning, relentless focus. Discipline is the price of admission. It is the cost of greatness. Most people are not willing to pay it. They want the reward without the work, the glory without the grind, the victory without the sacrifice. But you are different. You are willing to do what others won't so you can have what others can't. Action is where the rubber meets the road. Most people are paralyzed by indecision. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect opportunity. But perfection is the enemy of progress. The world rewards action, not intention. The greatest ideas in the world are worthless without execution. The most brilliant plans are meaningless without movement. Action is the antidote to fear, the cure for doubt, the secret to success. Action is the dividing line between those who dream and those who achieve. It is the hammer that shatters the chains of hesitation, the spark that ignites the fire of momentum. Every empire, every fortune, every legacy was built, not in the mind but in the world, through action, through risk, through relentless forward motion. Most people stay poor because they never act. They talk, they plan, they hope, but they never move. They are prisoners of their own inertia, trapped in the quicksand of someday. But someday is a lie. Someday is the graveyard of dreams. The only time that matters is now. You must become a person of action. You must train yourself to move quickly, to seize opportunities, to make decisions and stand by them. The world does not wait for the timid. It rewards the bold, the decisive, the relentless. Think of Henry Ford, who revolutionized manufacturing not by waiting for permission, but by acting on his vision. Think of Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times, but kept moving, kept trying, kept building, until the world was changed forever. Action is not always glamorous. It is often messy, uncomfortable, uncertain, but it is always necessary. Gratitude is the secret weapon of the truly successful. Most people think gratitude is passive, a soft emotion, a luxury for those who have already made it. But gratitude is power. It is the ability to see abundance where others see scarcity, to find opportunity in adversity, to turn setbacks into stepping stones. Gratitude is not about ignoring reality. It is about choosing your focus, about training your mind to see the good, the possible, the potential in every situation. When you are grateful, you are never poor. You are rich in spirit, rich in perspective, rich in possibility. Donald Trump, in the face of criticism, setbacks, and failures, always found something to be grateful for, a lesson learned, a new connection, a fresh start. Gratitude is the antidote to entitlement, the cure for bitterness, the foundation of resilience. Most people stay poor because they focus on what they lack, on what they have lost, on what they cannot control. But you will focus on what you have, on what you can do, on what you can become. Gratitude turns obstacles into opportunities, problems into possibilities, losses into lessons. Adaptability is the currency of the future. The world is changing faster than ever before. Technology, markets, politics, culture, everything is in flux. Most people cling to the past, to the way things were, to the comfort of the known. They resist change. They fear the unknown. They fight the future. But the future belongs to the adaptable, to those who can pivot, who can learn, who can reinvent themselves again and again. Think of Walt Disney, who faced bankruptcy, betrayal, and failure, but kept adapting, kept innovating, kept dreaming. Think of Steve Jobs, who was fired from his own company, only to return and lead it to unprecedented heights. Adaptability is not weakness, it is strength. It is the ability to survive, to thrive, to win in any environment. Most people stay poor because they refuse to change. They hold on to old habits, old beliefs, old ways of thinking. They are left behind as the world moves forward. But you will be different. You will embrace change. You will seek out new ideas. You will become a student of the future. Adaptability is not about abandoning your values. It is about finding new ways to express them, new ways to win, new ways to lead. Resilience is the armor of the unstoppable. Life will knock you down. You will face rejection, failure, betrayal, loss. Most people are broken by adversity. They give up, they give in, they lose hope. But the great ones, the ones who change the world, are defined by their resilience. They get back up again and again, no matter how many times they fall. They turn pain into power, wounds into wisdom, scars into strength. Abraham Lincoln lost more elections than he won, faced ridicule, depression, and defeat, but he never quit. He kept going, kept fighting, kept believing until he changed the course of history. Resilience is not about never falling. It is about always rising. It is about refusing to be defined by your failures, about seeing every setback as a setup for a comeback. Most people stay poor because they let failure define them. They internalize defeat. They make it personal. They let it poison their dreams. But you will use failure as fuel. You will learn, you will grow, you will become stronger with every challenge. Resilience is the difference between those who try and those who triumph. Leadership is the final piece of the puzzle. Most people wait for someone else to lead, someone else to decide, someone else to take responsibility. They are followers, passengers, spectators in their own lives. But the world is changed by leaders, by those who step up, who take charge, who inspire others to greatness. Leadership is not about titles or positions. It is about influence, about vision, about courage. It is about setting the standard, raising the bar, showing others what is possible. Donald Trump, love him or hate him, never waited for permission to lead. He set his own agenda, defined his own path, built his own empire. Leadership is about making tough decisions, about standing alone when necessary, about taking the heat and never backing down. Most people stay poor because they are afraid to lead. They are afraid to stand out, to take risks, to be responsible for the outcome. But you will be a leader. You will set the example. You will inspire others. You will create a legacy that outlives you. Learning is the foundation of all growth. Most people stop learning the moment they leave school. They think they know enough. They think they have arrived. They think the journey is over. But the journey never ends. The world is a classroom, and the most successful people are lifelong students. They read, they study, they ask questions, they seek out mentors. They are humble enough to admit what they don't know, hungry enough to keep searching for answers, wise enough to know that knowledge is power. Think of Andrew Carnegie, who built libraries across America so that others could learn, could grow, could rise. Think of Napoleon Hill, who spent his life studying the habits of the rich and successful, distilling their wisdom into timeless principles. Learning is not just about information. It is about transformation. It is about becoming more than you were yesterday, about expanding your mind, about unlocking your potential. Most people stay poor because they stop learning. They become stagnant, complacent, comfortable. But you will be different. You will be a student of life, a seeker of truth, a collector of wisdom. You will invest in yourself, in your mind, in your future. Learning is the ultimate investment, the one that always pays dividends. And so, as the sun rises on a new day, as the world awakens to possibility, you stand at the crossroads. You can choose the path of the many, the path of comfort, of safety, of mediocrity, or you can choose the path of the few, the path of greatness, of risk, of reward. The choice is yours, the power is yours, the future is yours. You stand now in the arena of your own life, the dust of yesterday settling at your feet, the roar of possibility echoing in your chest. The world will try to tell you that your fate is sealed, that your circumstances are your destiny, that the limits of your past are the boundaries of your future. But history is written by those who refuse to accept the script handed to them. The poor stay poor because they accept the story they've been told. The rich, the powerful, the world changers, they write their own story every single day. Look around you. Every building that scrapes the sky, every company that shapes the world, every innovation that changes how we live, these are monuments to the power of human will. They are proof that greatness is not reserved for the chosen few, but for the few who choose. The difference is not in talent, not in luck, not in privilege. The difference is in decision. The decision to rise, to fight, to build, to become. We must decide right now that you will not be counted among the many who settle. You must decide that you will not be a spectator in your own life. You must decide that you will not let fear, doubt, or the opinions of others dictate your destiny. The world is full of critics, of cynics, of people who will tell you it can't be done. But the world remembers the doers, the builders, the dreamers who dared to defy the odds. There is a fire inside you, a spark that cannot be extinguished. It is the same fire that burned in Edison's laboratory and Carnegie's steel mills and Disney's imagination, in Lincoln's heart. It is the fire of possibility, of potential, of purpose. Most people let that fire die. They smother it with excuses, with distractions, with the comfort of conformity. But you will feed that fire. You will protect it, nurture it, let it grow until it becomes an inferno that lights up the world. You must become relentless. Relentless in your pursuit of excellence. relentless in your commitment to your vision, relentless in your refusal to quit. The world does not reward the half-hearted, the lukewarm, the easily discouraged. It rewards those who keep going, who keep fighting, who keep believing when everyone else has given up. Relentlessness is not about never feeling fear or doubt. It is about moving forward in spite of them. It is about showing up day after day, no matter how you feel, no matter what the world throws at you. Think of the greats, those who have left their mark on history. They were not always the smartest, the strongest, the most talented, but they were always the most relentless. They refused to be denied. They refused to be defeated. They refused to settle for anything less than everything they dreamed of. That is the standard. That is the expectation. That is the way. You must also become strategic. The world is not conquered by brute force alone. It is conquered by those who can see the game, who can anticipate the moves, who can outthink and outmaneuver the competition. Strategy is the art of winning before the battle is fought. It is the ability to see the big picture, to plan your moves, to adapt to changing circumstances. Most people drift through life, reacting to whatever comes their way. But the winners, the true winners, are always thinking, always planning, always several steps ahead. Donald Trump built his empire not just on boldness, but on strategy. He understood the power of leverage, the importance of timing, the necessity of negotiation. He played the game to win, and he played it better than anyone else. You must do the same. You must study the game, learn the rules, master the art of strategy. You must become a chess player in a world of checkers. But strategy without courage is useless. You must have the courage to act, to risk, to put yourself on the line. Most people are paralyzed by fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that something else is more important. It is the willingness to step into the unknown, to face the possibility of defeat, to risk everything for the chance to win. The world belongs to the bold, to the brave, to those who are willing to bet on themselves. Courage is contagious. When you act with courage, you inspire others to do the same. You become a beacon, a leader, a force for change. Most people stay poor because they never find the courage to try. They let fear dictate their choices, their actions, their lives. But you will be different. You will act in spite of fear. You will move forward when others stand still. You will become the example that others follow. And as you move forward, as you build, as you rise, you must never forget the power of relationships. No one succeeds alone. Every empire is built on alliances, on partnerships, on the ability to connect and collaborate. Most people underestimate the value of relationships. They focus on transactions, on short-term gains, on what they can get. But the truly successful understand that relationships are the foundation of everything. They invest in people, in trust, in loyalty. They build networks that support them, challenge them, elevate them. Think of the great partnerships in history: Carnegie and Frick, Jobs and Wozniak, Trump and his team of loyal advisors. These alliances were not accidents. They were built on mutual respect, shared vision, the willingness to work together for a common goal. You must become a master of relationships. You must learn to listen, to communicate, to inspire. You must surround yourself with people who challenge you, who believe in you, who push you to be your best. But you must also be willing to walk alone when necessary. Leadership is a lonely road. There will be times when you must stand apart, when you must make decisions that others do not understand. when you must carry the weight of responsibility on your own shoulders. Most people are not willing to pay that price. They crave approval, acceptance, belonging. But greatness requires sacrifice. It requires the willingness to be misunderstood, to be criticized, to be alone. You must develop the strength to stand alone, to trust your own judgment, to follow your own path. The world will try to pull you back, to keep you in line, to make you conform. But you must resist. You must be willing to be different, to be bold, to be yourself. That is the price of leadership. That is the cost of greatness. And as you walk that path, sometimes with allies, sometimes alone, you will discover the true meaning of power. Power is not about domination, not about control, not about forcing your will on others. True power is the ability to shape reality, to turn vision into fact, to inspire others to rise with you. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and where you are going. Most people chase power as if it were a prize to be won, a trophy to be displayed. But the wise know that power is a responsibility, a stewardship, a force to be wielded with wisdom and restraint. You must cultivate inner power before you can ever hope to wield outer power. This means mastering your emotions, your thoughts, your habits. It means refusing to be a slave to anger, to envy, to fear. It means developing the discipline to do what needs to be done, even when every fiber of your being screams for comfort, for ease, for escape. The world is full of people who are ruled by their impulses, their appetites, their moods. But the great ones, the ones who rise above, are masters of themselves first and of the world second. Self-mastery is the foundation of all achievement. It is the ability to delay gratification, to sacrifice today for a greater tomorrow, to choose the hard right over the easy wrong. Most people stay poor because they never learn to master themselves. They are driven by impulse, by habit, by the path of least resistance. But you will be different. You will train your mind, your body, your spirit to serve your highest goals. You will become the architect of your own destiny. And as you build this inner fortress, you will find that the world begins to bend to your will. Opportunities appear where before there were only obstacles. Doors open that once seemed locked. People are drawn to your confidence, your clarity, your conviction. This is not magic. This is the law of cause and effect, the principle that the world reflects back to you what you project into it. If you radiate strength, you attract strength. If you radiate weakness, you attract weakness. The choice is always yours. But do not mistake confidence for arrogance. The truly powerful are humble. They know that there is always more to learn, always another level to reach, always a higher standard to set. Humility is not weakness. It is the recognition that greatness is a journey, not a destination. It is the willingness to listen, to learn, to grow. Most people stay poor because they think they know it all, because they stop growing, because they become complacent. But you will remain a student, always hungry, always curious, always striving for more. And as you grow, as you rise, as you achieve, you must never forget the importance of giving back. True wealth is not measured by what you accumulate, but by what you contribute. The greatest legacies are built not on what you take from the world, but on what you give to it. Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in history, gave away the vast majority of his fortune to build libraries, schools, and institutions that would uplift generations. He understood that wealth is a tool, a means to an end, a way to make the world better than you found it. You must adopt this mindset of abundance, of generosity, of service. Most people stay poor because they live in a mindset of scarcity, of hoarding, of fear. They believe that every gain must come at someone else's expense, that the world is a zero-sum game, that there is never enough to go around. But the truth is, the more you give, the more you receive. The more you serve, the more you grow. The more you lift others, the higher you rise. This is not just philosophy, it is practical reality. The most successful people in the world are those who solve the biggest problems, who create the most value, who serve the most people. If you want to be rich, truly rich, in every sense of the word, find a way to serve, find a way to give, find a way to make a difference that matters. And as you do, you will discover a joy, a fulfillment, a sense of purpose that no amount of money can buy. You will wake up every morning with a fire in your belly, a mission in your heart, a reason to keep going when others would quit. This is a secret that most people never learn. They chase money, status, approval, thinking that these things will make them happy. But happiness is a byproduct of purpose, of contribution, of living a life that matters. So as you look to the future, as you chart your course, remember this: you are not a victim of circumstance. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are not defined by what others think, by what others say, by what others do. You are the author of your own story, the captain of your own ship, the master of your own fate. Most people will never understand this. They will live and die in the shadow of their own potential, never daring to step into the light. But you are not most people. You are the exception. You are the one who will rise, who will build, who will lead, who will leave a legacy that endures. And when the world asks how you did it, when they marvel at your success, your strength, your impact, you will know the truth. You will know that it was not luck, not privilege, not circumstance. It was mindset. It was belief. It was clarity, vision, purpose, discipline, action, gratitude, adaptability, resilience, leadership, learning, power, humility, generosity. It was the relentless refusal to settle for anything less than greatness. And so, as the world spins on, indifferent, relentless, full of noise and distraction, you stand at the edge of your own possibility. The air is thick with the weight of untapped dreams, with the silent hopes of millions who will never dare, never try, never rise. But you are not here to be a silent hope. You are not here to be a spectator, a shadow, a footnote in someone else's story. You are here to be the author, the architect, the force that shapes your own destiny. Most people will never break free. They will live in the comfort of excuses and the safety of the crowd and the prison of their own making. They will watch the clock, count the days, and wonder where their lives went. They will blame the world, the system, the economy, their parents, their past. They will wait for a miracle, for a savior, for a sign that never comes. They will die with their music still inside them, their greatness still unborn, their legacy still unwritten. But you are different. You have heard the call. You have felt the fire. You have seen, if only for a moment, the truth that most people spend their lives avoiding. That you are powerful beyond measure, that you are capable of more than you have ever imagined, that you are the answer you have been waiting for. The world will try to convince you otherwise. It will try to pull you back, to keep you small, to make you forget. But you will not forget. You will not shrink. You will not surrender. You will rise. You will rise because you have chosen to see the world not as it is, but as it could be. You will rise because you have chosen to believe in yourself when no one else would. You will rise because you have chosen clarity over confusion, purpose over pleasure, discipline over distraction. You will rise because you have chosen action over apathy, gratitude over grievance, adaptability over rigidity. You will rise because you have chosen resilience over resignation, leadership over following, learning over stagnation. You will rise because you have chosen to master yourself, to serve others, to give more than you take. You will rise because you have chosen greatness. And As you rise, you will become a beacon, a living example of what is possible when a person refuses to be defined by circumstance, when a person decides to write their own story. You will inspire others not with your words, but with your life. You will show them that it is possible to break free, to build, to lead, to win. You will show them that poverty is not a destiny, but a decision. That wealth is not just money, but mindset, mission, and meaning. You will face challenges. You will face setbacks. You will face moments when the world seems to conspire against you, when the voices of doubt grow loud, when the path ahead is shrouded in darkness. But you will keep going. You will keep building. You will keep believing, because you know that the only way to fail is to quit. And you are not a quitter. You are a creator, a conqueror, a champion. And one day, when you look back on your journey, on the risks you took, the battles you fought, the mountains you climbed, you will not see a life of ease or comfort. You will see a life of meaning, of impact, of legacy. You will see the faces of those you inspired, the lives you changed, the world you helped to shape. You will know in the deepest part of your soul that you did not waste your shot, that you did not squander your potential, that you did not stay poor in any sense of the word. You will know that you lived. So go now. Go with boldness, with conviction, with the unbreakable certainty that you are destined for more. Go with the lessons of the giants who came before you, with the fire of your own vision, with the relentless drive to make your mark. Go with gratitude, with humility, with the willingness to serve and to lead. Go with the knowledge that you are not most people, that you never were, that you never will be. The world is waiting, your future is waiting, your greatness is waiting. Go, build, lead, win, and never ever settle for less than everything you were born to be.